My daughter's voice sliced through the summer air like a knife. "He's old, Aaron. We'll move him out, flip the ranch, and start fresh." I was kneeling in the dirt, hands in my wife's rose garden, the one I built for her before she died, when I heard my only child plotting to erase me from my own home. In that moment, the smell of roses turned to ash. While they were planning my exit, I was already planning theirs. And that's when I decided, if they wanted the house so badly, I'd make sure they'd never touch it again. If you've ever been betrayed by the people you trusted most, hit that subscribe button right now. Because this isn't just a story about revenge, it's about reclaiming dignity when the world writes you off. Like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and get ready, because Eugene Carter didn't just walk away. He walked away with everything. My name's Eugene Carter, though most people call me Gene. 68 years old, retired builder, born and raised right here in Austin, Texas. I've spent my life with my hands in concrete, timber, and dust building homes for other people, never imagining one day I'd have to fight for my own. My ranch house sat on 6 acres west of the city oak trees, red dirt, the smell of rain and summer. It wasn't fancy, but every inch of it had my sweat in the walls. I laid every plank of that porch with my late wife, Clara, before she passed 7 years ago. I used to sit there every evening with a cup of coffee and imagine my daughter Rachel inheriting it one day. She was my only child, bright, stubborn, the kind of girl who once fixed her own flat tire on prom night and still showed up with grease on her hands. But after Clara died, something in Rachel changed. Maybe it was grief. Maybe it was ambition. Maybe it was that new boyfriend, Aaron McMillan, a slick real estate broker with a smile that always looked rehearsed. At first, I wanted to believe the best. He called me Mr. C, laughed too loud at my jokes, and told me, "Sir, you've got prime land here. Bet you could get $750,000 easy if you ever sell." I'd just nod, sip my coffee, and say, "I'm not selling, son. This land's staying in the family." I should have known that smile meant trouble. It started small. Rachel began visiting less. Her calls turned into quick check-ins. Then came the subtle suggestions. "Dad, you shouldn't be alone out here all the time. That garden's too much work for you now. Aaron says there's this really nice senior community opening up near Lakeway. You'd love it." At first, I laughed it off. But the more she brought it up, the more I felt the pressure. It wasn't concern, it was persuasion. Then, that day in the garden changed everything. The morning had been peaceful, birds in the cedar trees, the soft hum of cicadas. I was watering my roses when I heard her voice. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. Her car was in the driveway, her door was open. Her phone was on speaker. "He's sentimental, Aaron, but not stupid. We'll tell him it's for his health. Then once he's moved, we can list the place fast. Your cousin can buy it at a discount, flip it, and we all win. All win." My blood turned cold. For a moment I couldn't move. My heart was hammering, and my hands were shaking so bad the hose slipped from my grip. The water pooled around my boots, and I just stood there, listening as my daughter, my baby girl, laughed. Aaron chuckled on the other end. "You're ruthless, Ratch. I love it. Don't worry, old folks always cave when it sounds like it's for their own good." That line burned into me like a brand. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the old wedding photo on the counter. Clara's smile, warm and steady. I could almost hear her voice. "Don't let them take what's yours, Gene." For the first time in years, I poured myself a drink, just one. Then I started planning. The next morning, I made a call to Mark Sandoval, a local attorney who handled Clara's estate. He was one of those straight-shooter types, always wore bolo ties and cowboy boots, even in court. When I told him what I'd overheard, he leaned back and whistled. That's low, Gene, real low. But it's not the first time I've seen family pull stunts like this. I asked him, what can I do to protect myself? Mark thought for a moment, then smiled that quiet, lawyerly smile. You sell before they do. Move your money where they can't touch it. Make them think they're still in control until the ink's dry. That sounded poetic. We drafted everything that non-disclosure, transfer clauses, power of attorney revoked. He walked me through how to set up a business account under Carter Construction Holdings, technically a dormant LLC. I'd never dissolved. Perfect cover. Next, I called Lydia Reyes, a realtor who'd handled several quick turnover ranch sales for me back in my working days. I told her, Lydia, I need a quiet, fast sale. Cash buyer. No sign in the yard. No open house. Just results. She didn't ask questions. Within a week, she had 2 interested buyers and 1 offer at $730,000, full cash, close in under 10 days. 10 days. Meanwhile, I played the part. Rachel called midweek, asking if I'd looked at the brochures she'd left for the care community. I chuckled and said, yeah, I might swing by next week. She sounded thrilled. That's great, Dad. Aaron and I can come help you tour the place. Sure, honey, I lied. Over those 10 days, I started sorting through my life, piece by piece. The ranch was full of memories, good ones and bad. I packed Clara's quilt, my old tools, a few boxes of photos, and my late father's watch. The rest, furniture, dishes, decorations, I left behind. Let them have it. I wanted them to walk into the empty show and realize what they'd done. Lydia found me a 1-bedroom unit at Cedar Haven, a quiet senior complex just 15 minutes away. Not fancy, but peaceful. I moved my essentials there on a Friday morning. That same afternoon, I stopped by the ranch one last time. I installed a small USB charger camera in the kitchen outlet, just in case they tried to break in before the deal closed. Then I sat down at my old oak desk and started writing a letter. It wasn't angry. It wasn't bitter. It was final. Rachel, I heard every word. You planned to sell my home before I was even gone. I've taken care of that for you. The property is sold, the proceeds secured, and my affairs are in order. You won't find me in any care suite. You won't find my money either. What you will find is the house you tried to claim empty, just like your intentions. I sealed it in an envelope and left it on the kitchen counter, right where she'd see it first. Then I locked the door my last time doing so and drove away. 3 days later, when they pulled into the gravel driveway, the sun was blazing over the oaks, turning the air into a hazy shimmer. The truck backfired twice before sputtering to a stop. Rachel hopped out first, wearing oversized sunglasses and that impatient stride she'd picked up from Aaron. The key turned halfway in the lock, then jammed. She frowned, tried again. Nothing. Aaron, she called over her shoulder, irritation rising in her voice. Did you change the locks already? You said your cousin wasn't supposed to close until next week. Aaron's brow furrowed. I didn't change anything. Maybe the lock's old. Try the side door. They circled to the back patio, the same porch Clara and I had built 40 years ago. Rachel tried that door, too, same result. That's when she noticed the envelope taped to the inside of the glass with her name and my handwriting. She peeled it off, tore it open, and started reading. Aaron hovered close behind, craning his neck. When she reached the line, you won't find me in any care suite. You won't find my money either, she froze. Her sunglasses slipped down her nose, and for a moment her face twisted into something raw anger, confusion, shame, all fighting for space. Then she crushed the paper in her fist. He sold it, she hissed. What do you mean, sold it? Aaron asked, eyes narrowing. He sold the house. Without us. It's gone. Aaron swore under his breath, pacing. You're kidding. He can't do that. We... She cut him off, snapping. It was in his name, you idiot. The wind picked up, scattering dust across the empty yard. I wasn't there to see it in person, but I didn't need to. I had that little USB camera quietly recording everything from its spot on the counter, the envelope lying like a casualty of war. That footage. I watched it later that night with a whiskey in hand, Rachel pacing, Aaron shouting, both realizing just how badly they'd underestimated me. Watching that video brought me years back to when Rachel was 13, sitting in the back seat of my truck with grease on her jeans and a wild grin on her face. We did it, Daddy. We fixed it ourselves. She just helped me rebuild the carburetor on my old Chevy. I remember thinking, this girl will never need anyone's permission to stand tall. But time has a way of sanding people down. College loans, failed jobs, new influences, they all took their toll. When Clara got sick, Rachel stayed away more and more. By the time the funeral came, she was already leaning on Aaron for guidance. He sold her the idea that money was freedom, that comfort was the goal. And maybe I was partly to blame. I'd given her too much, too easily. Paid off her car, helped with her first condo, bailed her out after her failed online boutique. Each time she'd say, I'll pay you back, Dad. She never did. So when I overheard her that day, maybe it wasn't shock, it was confirmation. A lifetime of small betrayals had finally added up. For the first week after the sale, I kept quiet. The funds sat in the new business account, clean, legal, untouchable. I transferred just enough to live comfortably, and the rest I invested into something Clara and I once dreamed about, a small cabin-building workshop near the lake. Mark, my lawyer, handled the rest. The buyers took possession, title transferred, paperwork sealed. Then the calls began. First Rachel, then Aaron. Then her messages turned into paragraphs, guilt trips, apologies, rage, then guilt again. Dad, please call me. I didn't mean it like that. You can't just disappear. I need to know you're okay. Are you seriously going to leave me with nothing? Each one burned a little less than the last. By the end of the week, I stopped checking my voicemail. I spent my mornings walking the trails near Cedar Haven, learning my neighbors' names. Folks there didn't care about money. They cared if you could tell a good story or play dominoes after dinner. It felt good to be invisible again. A month later, a certified letter showed up at my new apartment. It was from Rachel's lawyer. Subject: intent to contest sale of property. I almost laughed out loud. I called Mark, read him the letter, and he chuckled. Don't lose sleep over it. They've got no standing. You owned it outright, Gene. You could have sold it for a bag of marbles if you wanted to. Still, I told him to send them the USB footage, just a snippet. The part where Rachel and Aaron plotted to ship me off and flip the house. Mark agreed, adding a simple note. In the interest of transparency, attached is a record of intent from your client. 2 weeks later, silence. No more calls. No more letters. It was late autumn when I saw Rachel again. She showed up at Cedar Haven unannounced, eyes tired, hair pulled back, no makeup, just a daughter standing in front of her father with nowhere else to go. She sat down on the bench beside me. For a while, neither of us spoke. The breeze smelled like cedar and cut grass. Dad, she finally said, her voice barely a whisper, I'm sorry. I didn't answer right away. I wasn't going to actually send you away, she continued, eyes glistening. It was just talk. We were desperate. Aaron, he's gone now. Took what little savings we had. I turned to her slowly. You weren't going to send me away, huh? But you were willing to lie to me to get what you wanted. She nodded, wiping her eyes. I know. I messed up. I just thought I'd always have time to fix it. I sighed. That's the thing about time, Rachel. It doesn't wait for us to get better. She reached for my hand. For a moment I let her hold it. Her skin felt cold, then I stood. I forgive you, I said quietly. But I can't trust you. Her face crumpled. She didn't argue, didn't beg. She just nodded and walked away. That was the last time I saw her. These days my mornings start with coffee and sawdust. I teach retired vets how to build birdhouses and benches from reclaimed wood. We call it Carter's Cabin Co-op. It's not about the money, it's about purpose. Sometimes when I drive past what used to be my ranch, I see the new family that lives there. Kids on the swing set, lights in the windows. It doesn't hurt anymore. The land's alive again, and that's what matters. Every once in a while, I think of Rachel. I hope she finds her footing someday. Betrayal has a way of hollowing you out, but forgiveness, it fills the cracks back in, just not always for the person who hurt you. If you found this story as satisfying as I did, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more tales where justice finds its way home. And tell me in the comments, what's the most unforgettable act of revenge you've ever witnessed? Because sometimes the sweetest payback is simply walking away with your dignity intact.